Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and this is my review, my what I think of South Park Season 21, Episode 6, Sons of Witches. This is their Halloween episode, and it is a great episode. I really liked it, but I can see why some people out there may not like it, but let me tell you guys why I really loved it. So I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and this to me felt like the type of Halloween movie I would have watched on cable TV back in the day, the kind of thing we would have watched in my social studies class or my English class, I should say, when they're trying to like show us something spooky for Halloween that's not too spooky. And I really liked it. So the episode itself is all about Randy pretty much once again. All right. Actually, I'd say Randy starts the episode, but I'd say it's probably more about Cartman, because every episode thus far has been relatively procedural, right? With the exception of primarily one element, and that is Cartman and Heidi's relationship. At this point, you know Cartman wanted to break up with her. He broke up with her in the season premiere, but they got back together, and ever since then, he has just hated every single moment of it. And that plays out very heavily here. So the episode starts with Randy and the guys dressing up as witches for their Halloween Witch Week, where these bunch of bad witches head off into the mountains in order to drink Jack Daniels and smoke crack for what they call a Jack and Crack Week, where they do this pretty much every single night leading up to Halloween. And, you know, they're good witches, essentially. So they go up there, they drink their Jack, they smoke their crack, and they recite some spells to put on their wives. You know, guy things, apparently. I think this whole thing was just mocking those, like, masculine getaway weekends that you've heard about. You know, you see sometimes in these type of shows, these type of movies. This is definitely tossing that on its ear. And then one of the guys shows up, and he actually has a book of spells that he bought in Salem, Massachusetts, and he recites one, and it turns him into an actual witch, a witch that can fly on a broom, and a witch that can hurl jack-o'-lanterns that explode. It's essentially the Hobgoblin. This witch was the Hobgoblin, but the witch goes and attacks a pumpkin patch and steals one of the kids. Now, at the same time, Cartman and Heidi are going to go to the pumpkin patch. It had opened an hour earlier. Cartman is very much trying to get Heidi out of the house, but she has to go through every little drawer, every single nook, every single cranny of her room to make sure she looks just right to go to this pumpkin patch. Now, that had me laughing, and I think that will have any man out there or woman who is with a woman who's done those similar things. You know, you're like, oh, hey, look, the movie starts in 20 minutes. We really should get going. Oh, no, I'm fine. I just got to put my face on. And then like an hour later, they're done. And you get there and you feel like you've missed out. This obviously was, kind of boosted up for effect, but still it's pretty funny when you think about it. So Cartman is furious. He's pissed. He's trying to get her out of the house. He's freaking out. They get to the pumpkin patch. All the pumpkins are gone for the most part. The petting zoo's closed. The churro stand's closed. And then, of course, the witch attacks and steals a small child. Now, the next day, all the boys at school, they're talking about it. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out what's going on and how to stop the witch, as you would see in, again, a movie like The Monster Squad, for example, like trying to figure out how to stop the witch. And the whole time, Cartman's trying to plan how to get rid of Heidi and decides this is the right way. I can use the witch in order to get rid of my girlfriend instead of actually breaking up with her. So he devises a plan that takes them all to the Ross Dress for Less, you know, the scariest place in town. Kyle calls him out and is just like, why don't you just break up with her? She's a nice girl. She doesn't deserve you. You're garbage, basically. And so Cartman says, like, hey, next time you want me to kill somebody for you, I'm not going to do it. And he takes off. But what he decides to do is he decides to dress them up like Hansel and Gretel for a costume party and walk them through the woods alone at night. And when he does this, the witch shows up. And when the witch does, Heidi's like, oh no, babe, where are you? And Cartman goes and hides behind a log, waiting for her to be captured, therefore solving his problem. Truly a Cartman way of going about it. But what I loved, though, was that Cartman had gone to the police to report what happened. And one of the officers is just like, so, wait, let me get this straight. The witch is out. The witch has kidnapped children. And you thought it would be a good idea to dress as Hansel and Gretel and walk through the woods. And to which case Cartman pulls the ultimate, are you blaming the victim here? which I thought was great. And then the detective, the ginger, looks at the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and goes, "Sorry, folks," and he totally acknowledges the joke. I don't think they've ever done that before. I don't think they've ever given that blatant of a nod to the audience, at least not for a while. I thought it was fantastic. I laughed my ass off. Well, then with the actual witches, the witches are trying to, be good. They're trying to prove to the neighborhood that they're good. So they go and they put on a play at the school, try to sing a little song about how, like, not all witches are bad. And then of course Butter's dad is just like, "Hey man, I can't do this anymore. I want to tell my wife about the jack and the crack. We can't do this anymore. I hope you understand." Randy's like, yeah. Just give me till tomorrow. We can talk to the guys. We can figure this whole thing out. Which case, what's going to happen, right? They're gonna sacrifice him to the devil. So they go to do that by essentially luring him to the Ross Dress for Less, and then basically accusing him of being the witch in order to get the police to come and arrest him. But when this happens, the real witch shows up, and they go and they start calling him out, like, "Dude, like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Come on, you guys. Come on. Like, if you had the power, you wouldn't use it. Why are you taking the kids? I'm using their souls to make me even more powerful." And then, of course, someone looks to the sky and goes, "Another witch is coming." And it cuts over to Air Force One, because they had found out that Mr. Garrison, now President Garrison, was in fact part of the Witches Club that they had been a part of for 20 years, and they called him for advice, and he decided to show up to help save the day. Now, this was great, because as Garrison lands, Garrison doesn't like the guy who's the witch. I think his name is Chad. Doesn't like him at all. Thinks he's a douche. Goes over there and says, "No, I'm here to end this," and he just, like, talks into his pin and says, "Okay, take the shot." And so you think there's going to be a sniper on a roof somewhere to take the witch out. It actually cuts up to a satellite in space, total Reagan era Star Wars technology here, and fires a laser beam right at the witch, eviscerating him. And then they release the kids. And of course, the follow-up joke there at the end is all the kids come out except for Heidi, and they're like, "Okay, come on out, little girl." And she's like, No, it's okay, I'll just be a minute. Okay, hold on, I'm just getting ready. And Cartman's like, "Oh, we'll be here for a while." And so at the end, there's no, consequences. Nothing changes. It's Halloween night. Heidi and Cartman are in Heidi's room. He's dressed as a vampire. He's ready to go trick or treating. She's pretty much ready to go as a cat. But then, of course, just keeps going on and on and on and on and on about her wardrobe. And again, and many of us out there have been in those situations. We totally get it. We totally understand that this is definitely a part of a relationship. It's always one of the most annoying parts. And to the ladies out there who might come across this video, trust me, we do things that annoy you. So it's definitely a quid pro quo scenario to some extent out there. But here's what I'm going to laugh my ass off at tomorrow. What we have right now is a great standalone episode. I think it was a great episode. It could have probably been extrapolated out to 2 or 3 episodes, I think. I just wanted the vibe of the episode to continue. I just loved how they set it up. I loved some of the imagery. I loved that they played a lot with sunsets, and they made it really feel like something you would see in the fall, something you would see around Halloween. It had that vibe to me, and I really, really liked it. But here's what I'm going to laugh at. Mr. Garrison, President Garrison now, comes in at the end, saves the day. Then the witches go off with him and go and have their jack and crack night. Okay, so they're going out there and they're trying to, they're normalizing President Garrison. That's what we're gonna see. We've already seen articles pop out recently trying to say that South Park has been kind of siding with the alt-right, trying to attack them for that, which isn't the case at all. They're very libertarian and they kind of just play both sides. But they brought in Garrison and they made him the hero. And they normalized him in that way. And I found nothing wrong with it. I found nothing wrong with that little bit. But my first thought was, oh no, the think pieces tomorrow are going to be insane about this. So mark my words, you will see multiple reports coming out tomorrow about how this is a bad thing, about how South Park is normalizing the alt-right or normalizing Trump or they're now Trump supporters or something along those lines. Because that is the response that's going to happen to this episode. This episode was so full of old school 80s, 90s Halloween film vibes that they're going to totally overlook all of that awesomeness and go right towards the whole Trump thing. Because let's face it, that's going to get them the clicks. And it's unfortunate because it's another great episode and it's been a good season. with the exception of the first episode, which I keep ragging on, I know, but still, it bothered me. And I can't wait to see what they do next week. And I still need to go play my copy of Fractured But Whole. It's sitting in the other room right now. I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. But what do you guys think? Did you think it was a good episode? Do you think it was funny? Think it was stupid? These are things I want to know. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.